Patrick O'Neill, and I'm the sole owner of O'Neill Educational Consultants.
Who or what influenced you to be a part of your field?
Well, I worked in the field of education for 40-some years, but I worked under contract until 2008, and then I became an independent contractor.
When did you first choose to pursue this field?
Well, I retired in 2008,
So then-
so I determined that I didn't want to stop working altogether, so I developed business.
What would you say is the most enjoyable part or most disliked part of your job?
Well, I don't know if there's anything I dislike about my job. The reason that I do this is because I liked doing what I was doing when I was working under contract to school districts, and I developed a lot of skills that very few people have, and so this work gives me an opportunity to share those skills with other educational agencies.
How has the current market and recession impacted your company?
Downturn in educational funding, it's harder for school districts to seek outside assistance. I mean, they're struggling for every penny, so it's harder for them to fund additional personnel even though they need them.
So then, like, how would you keep your company ahead and make it an appealing option for?
Well, part of that, I guess, is that I don't, there are some consultants that charge a lot of money for their services, and I basically have charged a fairly reasonable price over the years, and I haven't changed that, so I'm relatively inexpensive for the expertise that I'm selling.
Like, what sorts of occurrences do you think would potentially help your industry to grow then?
Yeah, the reality is there are lots of different things that districts and educational agencies need, and I didn't make it clear earlier, but I work for local districts for what are known as special education local plan areas and for the Orange County Department of Education. So there's lots of different things out there that they need help with. Basically, what I do to keep me in business is just personal contact with people that I've worked with.
What kind of advertising tactics do you use and how they helped your company? So advertising doesn't really play a role,
well, I don't advertise per se, but sometimes if I have written letters to introduce myself to certain agencies because I've worked with them in the past to let them know that I'm now working independently.
What would you tell a student aiming to enter your field?
Well,
because I know probably you weren't off the bat thinking you were going to jump into this, but...
Well, like I said, I worked for districts for nearly 40 years. I also did, for the last, since the early 90s, I've done consulting for other agencies and outside of my regular contract work. So basically, the reason I can do what I'm doing today is that I was willing to do stuff outside of my regular teaching and develop skills that I wouldn't otherwise have done. So, if somebody's, basically I'm a teacher, so people would have to have that, but beyond that, I also have specific technical skills.
How has competition influenced your company?
There aren't very many people doing what I'm doing. Most of us are retired and get hired for, specific kinds of projects. Most of the people that do this are working in-house. They're working for districts. Okay.
So I will wrap this up, and thank you for your time.
Oh, my pleasure.